All right. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all are doing well today, and thank you for showing up on this video. I am the Bishop, aka Monkey D Bishop. That has nothing to do with racism. You get it if you're an anime nerd. Okay. Uh, but I am the Bishop, James Markham. And I wanted to get on here and just briefly talk about something that has been on my mind for some time, and that is unforgiveness. And I want to talk about it in a real way. And when I mean real way, meaning like it is something that I am still working through. I have major, let me adjust this. I have major forgiveness issues. And what I mean is that, in my past, I have been wronged by people that I trusted, I would say even some people I put all my trust in, and others that I just looked up to them or respected them. I trusted them and was wronged in a way that wounded me to my hurt, and the wound hasn't healed even now. It's still like when the thought of that person, sometimes when the thought of certain of these people come to my mind, it's this anger that kind of rises up in me where my thoughts get dark very quickly. And I just get so mad, and I'm just like, I think to myself, how could this person do this to me? I did nothing to you. How could you do this to me? I trusted you. I trusted you with myself. I trusted you with my family. How could you hurt me in this way? And then what makes it difficult to forgive, what makes it so difficult to forgive is that they're not sorry. They're not even sorry. I have communicated how people have hurt me, how people have hurt me. I have communicated to the people. I've communicated to them, you hurt me in this way. You hurt me when you do this. You hurt me when you talk about me like this. You hurt me when you say these things, when you do these actions. And they're just like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Or they'll say, oh, well, I see where you're coming from. Or they'll say, I'm sorry, right? That's what I get a lot. They'll say, I'm sorry. And then they'll turn around and do the same thing that hurt me before. And it'll be in the same day, the same hour. They'll turn around and do it again. And I'll be like, bruh, what did I do to deserve this disrespect? I've done nothing but respect you. I've done nothing but uphold you with my trust and honor, and you've gone out of your way to diminish me as a person, diminish my name. What have I done? And I've been hurt by these things. And, I'm kind of going deep into it, but like I said, it's something that I'm still struggling with. But it's a struggle because I don't want to forgive them. It's not a struggle because, well, I want to forgive you. I want to forgive you, and, but you keep doing this thing. I want to forgive you, but you keep doing it. I want to forgive you, but I want to forgive you, but you see it. And if I'm being honest, I don't. I don't want to forgive you. I don't. And if I'm being honest, sometimes, a lot of Christians, we like to quote where David said, "Go after them, God. Strike my enemies down." Or even my favorite book is Revelation in the Bible, and where it said where the servants that had been martyred go to God and say, well, Jesus, same thing. They go to the Lord and they say, "How long, O Lord, do we have to wait until, justice is brought against the people who murdered us? How much longer, God?" Oh. And it's just like, that's what I used to ask God. I used to ask God that. Okay, I would tell God, you see what's going on here, right? You see it, right? I'm not the only one. You see it, right? And the Lord, in all of his wisdom, would just say, yeah, I see it. And I'd be like, okay. So how long do I have to wait until justice is brought? How long do I have to wait until I get a real apology? And not just an apology, but an apology that follows up with the action. Because, people like to say love is an action word. I believe forgiving is an action word, and being forgiven is also action, because if I'm sorry, then I'll change. If I care about you, then I'll do something different. If I have wronged you, like, for example, I accidentally stepped on your foot. We, church people, we like to go to that one, right? I accidentally stepped on your foot. Let me go to something more extreme, okay? I waved my hand like this and I slapped you in the face. And you say, "Ow, that hurt." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I hit you again. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep doing it. And I just keep hitting you in the face, or just, straightforward, bow. And I keep saying that I'm sorry, but I'm not changing what it is that I'm claiming to be sorry about. Now, here's what is my issue. So because of the unforgiveness that I've held in my heart, it has caused me to become mad at God. It has caused me to become, dare I say, the action has already been done, so I have to say it, angry with God, blaming God. God, well, you see, this person did that, and because they did it, this is the, situation that we have to deal with now. And you didn't do anything about it, so I put it on you. Because you allowed it to happen. You allowed this terrible thing to happen, so God, it's your fault. Why would I follow a God who lets things like this happen? Why? Why would I follow a God who allows these things? Huh? Why would I do that? Why would I dedicate my life to this type of person? Well, I'm actually going a lot deeper than I was expected to go in this, but that's just my rambling, I guess. But that's what I would think. Why? So I decided not to. And I turned my back on the things of God, And I allowed myself to sin. I allowed myself to become addicted to pornography. I allowed myself to use profanity. I allowed myself to, lust actively. I allowed myself to become mean and evil to my wife. I've allowed myself to I complain so much. And one day I looked at myself and I said, Lord, how did I get here? How did I get here? I don't like being around people when I used to love people. How did I get here? I don't like talking about you, even though I know so much. I know you. And not just by your name, but by the relationship that I once had. I know you. And I know you're unchanging. So I could easily start talking about the things of God. But I'm backslidden in my heart. And I just be like, how did I get here? But it's more so, how did I allow myself to get here? It's like I blame God for allowing these things to happen, but then I kept writing okay to these actions and behaviors that I would do. And it's all due to unforgiveness, right? And I got down to, okay, I just said it's all due to unforgiveness, but that was a revelation from the Lord. A plain answer to me that I keep holding on to these things. Somebody look at me the wrong way, I'm holding on to that the rest of the day. Somebody says something that I don't like, now my whole day is ruined. My spirit has changed. And I would feel it. Even just yesterday, I was talking to my wife. We were talking about something completely different, and she just, in passing, makes a comment. Nothing about me, but a comment about a topic that we had been discussing, and it changed my whole spirit in just a second. I was excited and happy to be talking about this, and she just mentions this, and it just changed everything about me. And I was just like, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," And I was just like, it's not even her. What is wrong with me? It's not even the fact that you said it, but it's my immediate reaction to it that I did not like. And my mind has been on that ever since. And what it all comes around to is, and the Lord had revealed this to me a while ago, because I don't care where you are in your life, the Lord is still talking to you. I don't care if you just, well, I'm forsaking God and there is no God and all these things. God is still trying to get your attention. And that's why you got to keep yelling these foolish things out, because you're trying to drown out his voice, because he's not yelling it back at you. He's not yelling it at you. Well, I am God. I do. He's God. He doesn't have to prove anything. The fact that we breathe, the fact that, our limbs work, or, my legs don't work and my head don't work and all these things, but you're alive. Okay. The fact that, the things that we look at exist, and it's like we could come up with all these theories of evolution, all this stuff, but when it comes down to it, we have to create all these lies because we don't want to believe the one truth, and that truth is that God is. So I don't care where you are in your life, God is yet speaking to you. He is yet trying to get your attention. So the Lord revealed to me in my backslidden condition, in my sinful condition, because we like to use backsliding like, well, it's not fully sin. No. In my sinful condition, the Lord revealed to me that it is the fact that I do not forgive. I have not forgiven those from my past. So it's difficult for me to forgive those in my present. And it is holding me back from forgiving those in my future, because I will be hurt again. So it's like I'm rehearsing these actions done against me in my mind. And so if I sense it, it's like dating a person. It's like what I keep seeing on social media, about, I would see a young lady that I would know would be in a bad relationship. And I say young lady, well, I'm going to go both sides. Men and women, we all do it. And even I did, have done it, with my wife, that, in I'll just use me as an example then. Well, we all are the example. Okay, I'm doing too much, what's it called? Disclaimers. But the fact of the matter is, what I keep seeing, and what I have also been accused of and have done, accused because I did it, is that we'll date someone, have a bad experience with that person, okay? Or, there's that. There's also, we might grow up seeing a bad situation, seeing our mom, have a bad relationship with our dad, whether our dad is in our life or not, or our mom is in our life or not. But we see that there's always that toxicity in that area. And so it'll follow us through our lives. And so it's either that or it's that, or that we've experienced a relationship where it became toxic. Like there was something there where the other person is being very selfish. They've cheated on us, or they have just decided to put all the attention of our relationship on them. And so what we'll do is we will remember and rehearse those things. And I will see young ladies say, I don't want to say it on here, but they'll say that they're tired of, the N-word, these types of men treating them that way, and that they'll never let another type of man do this to them. Or a man will say, I will never let this type of woman treat me this way. And these are the things that we will continue to rehearse in our minds. We'll say it to our friends. We'll say it to our family. We'll say it even to the ones that we've chosen to love, to bring into relationship. We'll even say it to them. And then if, now I'm married, and I've allowed these things from that I've seen growing up, whether from my parents or, those adults who were around me, or even the past relationships that I had, I'll see the thing that was missing in those other relationships in this person, and I'll say, oh yes, this is it. And then, but I'll see that person is lacking in another area that's hitting me the wrong way. And I will say, oh, nope, I said I'll never. And now that person, might be a little weak in that area, but they're not using it fully against me. It is just something, we all got our toxic traits, because where I'm accusing them of having that same thing, so I'm going to leave them. Guess what? I got something that they don't like, so why don't they leave me? Because I'm not perfect. I'm not a whole person. So what we'll do is we will bring that unforgiveness into this new relationship. And so then that relationship becomes spoiled because we just ruined it. For example, I said spoiled, so it reminds me of this. You take a gallon of good milk and you take a gallon of spoiled milk, or you take a half gallon of good milk, half gallon of spoiled milk. Are you going to pour that spoiled milk into that half gallon of good milk so that it becomes 1 gallon of good milk? No, because guess what? When you pour spoiled into good, it becomes ruined. And that is why our relationships are always messed up. Because we take spoiled milk and pour it into good milk and we expect it to be good. That never happens. And that's how it is with unforgiveness. And I'm speaking as a person who is currently asking the Lord to help me with this. Like currently today, asking the Lord to uproot this bitterness that has been in me and holding me back for so long. For so long. Like I have missed out on so many great things in life because I have allowed myself to be blinded by this unforgiveness. Okay. Now we're going to talk about effects of unforgiveness. And I'm not sitting here about to, preach a whole message, but I'm just talking about my own life and my own experience. And where I see the similarities, where if this is something I'm experiencing and this is my reaction to it, I've seen these reactions in you, my brother and sister. I've seen these reactions in you. And I'm saying what the Lord is telling me. It's time to let it go, or we'll continue to be blind. And the only thing that happens with blind people is you're going to fall. And you're going to fall over. And who can help you? All right. This comes from Matthew 18, chapter 18, verse 21. I'm reading in King James because it's just my preferred version. I enjoy it. You can, read in your own. I don't know. If we're all sitting here being tied to different versions, this is right and that's wrong, guess what? Christ is not divided. Get your mind right. Then came Peter to him and said to him, Jesus, and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Now, the 7 times, I believe that's in the law that, you can forgive a certain amount of times, and after that you could, bring it to the judge and say, now I forgave him 7 times. They still keep doing it. I think that's in the law. I'm not going to look it up. You can look it up. All right. I'm saying usually that's why it's referenced that way. Verse 22, Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times. And what did Jesus say? He said, I say not unto thee until 7 times. So Jesus is saying, I'm not telling you 7 times. Meaning, Jesus is saying, I'm not giving you that limit. He said, but until 70 times 7. Now, I've done the math before, and if you've ever watched VeggieTales, they did it on there too. older videos, not the Netflix stuff. 70 times 7 is 490. Okay? Now, there's something else I'm going to look up here. I have my computer right next to me. But I want to see how many times can I there's a better way to put this, but this was in my mind. Can I do something that this is becoming a I'm an old person, y'all. I'm an old man, and I'm an old man. I'm a almost 30-year-old old man. Becomes a habit. How long does it really take to form a habit? See, I need to start reading. Okay, so look at this. This says one popular method to build habits is called the 2190 rule. The rule is simple enough. Commit to a personal or professional goal for 21 days, straight days. After 3 weeks, the pursuit of that goal should become a habit. So 21. This also says up here, it could take anywhere from 18 to 254 days for a person to form a new habit, and an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. Okay. So the highest is 254. The lowest is 18. And then in the first one, it said 21 and 90. So what is Jesus doing? Telling us 70 times 7. He is telling us that you do it until it's what you do. He says, but until 70 times 7. So if I forgive somebody 490 times, now when I was stupid little kid, and I heard 490, so I'm like, okay, what do you do on the 491st time? What do you do on that? Well, I was unlearned and lacked understanding. But now that I'm older and have learned some things, I know that by the 254th time, I'll be so used to forgiving you. By the time we get to 491, it's something that I do. It's something that I'm used to doing. It has now become my behavior to forgive. It's now become my attitude to forgive. That happens. So then, if I'm forgiving my wife, Marisol, who's a wonderful soul, if I forgive my wife every day, she does something, whether active or accidental, by the 254th time of her doing something that she knows is a no-no for your boy, I'm automatically forgiving her and showing her love. Now, here's the thing, what I just said, forgiving her and showing her love. Now, where's that? Where am I coming from with that? Let's keep going. 23. Therefore, Now, we have understand. We'll talk about the Bible being divided up in sections. It's just for people like me who can't understand like whole pages of things. I got it like divided in sections for me to understand small sections, and then I put the whole thing in its context of the bigger section, and it helps me understand. But y'all might be different. I know Mari's different. She has the Bible where it has it written in like paragraphs. And I read that. It was good. It was like reading a novel. It was really great. But it don't work with my person, no. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king. I'm going to read it all the way through. Which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents. Now, I was just reading or watching this video of this preacher who was talking about the equivalent of 10,000 talents to now. He said that it was about $50 million. Okay? That's what he said. Now, you're like, well, no, James, that's not what it is. Sorry, not James. Don't call me James. My name is the Bishop. No, the Bishop. That's not what it is. It's this. It don't matter. The fact of the matter is it's more money than what I got in my bank account right now. So if I owed that money, I'd be like, I'm sorry, King. I ain't got it. But for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children and all that he had, and payment to be made. So in order for that payment to be, I said I would read all the way through. I'm sorry, y'all. The servant, therefore, fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosed him and forgave him his debt. But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence, which again, the guy said that was about $40. And he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet, and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done. Then his Lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all that debt, because thou desiredst me, because thou asked me, is what he's saying, in case you didn't pick that up. Shouldest not thou also have had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? And his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father. Now, that's the end of the story. And so Jesus comes and ends his saying with this. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his brother their trespasses. That even now feels so heavy on me, because that is Jesus saying, James, You owe me $50 million. Or you owe me so much that it could be equal to $50 million. And what these people have done to you, what these people have done to you is equal to $40. I don't know about y'all, but that's heavy. I don't know how that makes y'all feel, but I feel that breaking me down right now. What these people have done to you is so little to what you have done to me. That's what the Lord's saying. And he said, so shall my heavenly Father do also unto you. See, we like to tell these parables, and a lot of times, we say, well, if Jesus didn't say it, I ain't listening. Red letters all the way, And then we find ourselves missing on this. We'll post red letters, and then our next post will be us being mad at somebody. Our next conversation is us gossiping about somebody, talking ill about somebody because they did something we don't like. Whew. Y'all, that hurt. Cause I was just listening to a preacher talk about it, and it was just it was heavy. And I was like, I gotta talk about it because it is heavy. That all this anger I have towards others, towards my wife, family, is equal to $40. When I compare it to how many times the Lord forgave me of every ill word that I spoke, every toxic action that I've done. The things, and it's not the things that is just like, just obviously wrong, but it's even the little things that just a passing thought. A passing word. An action that I'm trying to justify. And it's like all of that, the Lord forgave them all. I'm mad at what this one thing or 5 things this person did to me. And the Lord doesn't just see the things that I actively did against him. He sees the things that I secretly did against him, that I mentally did against him, that I spiritually did against him. And he's seeing all these things, and he's like, or even that I accidentally did against him. And he's seeing all of those things. And he's saying, but I forgave you anyway. Whew, my God. So, 70 times 7 is the Lord telling me, start practicing. Start practicing. Because the fact of the matter is this, that I believe now, I don't know about you, I believe in the God of this Bible. I believe the God who promised Abraham a nation, and that nation is actively alive and well today. I believe in that God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who had this book written. And I want to see him one day. I want to one day thank his son for dying for my sins, for the fact that he didn't just forgive a debt, but he paid the debt that I owed with his own life. That I owed so much that it wasn't just money that needed to be put on the table. It was my life. My very breath that needed to be put on the table. And he took my place. We'll explain that another time. But for you who understand what I'm saying, that was a heavy debt. And he said, no, I'll do it. And right now he's calling me to practice that same level of forgiveness. If it's a level of forgiveness that I would lay my life down, what is a bad word? What is a gossip? What is, you planning against me? What is that? And how do we get to the level of joy in God that when those who should be on our side plan our death, plan to kill us, we rejoice like the disciples in the book of Acts? See, that's the level you get to when you get to that 254, where you find joy in forgiveness because you're giving someone the gift of forgiveness. If we think of Christ giving his life as a gift, Christ is telling us in this story that the king gave the gift of freedom to his servant. You don't owe me anything. He was moved with compassion. You don't owe me anything. Go in peace. And then we turn around and we hold unforgiveness towards past girlfriends, in my case, past boyfriends, and, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, past, father, or, father, mother, sister, brother, former friends, and, and relatives and things like that. That we hold these things against them. We turn around and we choke them. We take them by the neck and say, you owe me an apology, instead of giving them the gift of forgiveness without apology. Notice he didn't ask the servant, well, if you give me 1 penny, then I'll set you free. No, he said, you asked me to forgive you, and I forgave it. And he said that after he was mad. He's like, he said, I forgave you because you asked me. You said you couldn't pay me, so you said, well, give me time and I'll pay you all of it. And I said, you know what? You don't have to pay me anything. Nothing. Just go in peace. And he's like, and I forgave you that, and you couldn't even turn around and give someone the same gift. What's this phrase that's going on now? Pay it forward. Pay it forward. That someone walks up to a person and they see that they're in a tight spot, and so they just take care of them. And they turn around, which, I've been in so many times. They turn around and I'm like, thank you so much, so much. You did not have to do that. And they just say, pay it forward. So then I take that same energy that they showed, that same compassion that they showed me, and I see somebody in a crisis, and I'm like, let me take care of you. And they're like, oh, I'll pay you back. No, don't pay me back. Pay it forward. And that's what Christ wants us to do. And it's difficult because it's going against our desire to hate them. It's going against our desire to want to speak evil over these people, or just one person, if it's just one person for you. Because out of that comes our toxicity, our speech and actions, our negativity. And it's difficult to be positive because in our heart we are negative. And notice this. Jesus says, so likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your hearts. See, Jesus already said that God is not paying attention to the outer man. He's looking at the inner man, because the problem is on the inside of us. We act out because of what's going on inside. Okay, I'm looking at this time. I've been talking now for 46 minutes. I was trying to stick to 30, but I kept talking. But thank you for listening. Thank you for, chilling with me. This is the Bishop Everywhere, and this is my page where I am a nerd and I am a student of life. I believe that Jesus is who he says he is. He is the Christ. I also believe that it is not the same belief. It is, Jesus being the Christ helps, causes me to change my life. But I'm also a nerd, so I do enjoy the cartoons and things like that. So you'll see more than just me posting on here my favorite shows and things like that. But you'll also see me talking about real life. And that's why I'm not coming at this like I'm preaching to anybody. Like, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about what's going on in my heart. And things that I'm trying to mature out of. And what I keep seeing, and the reason why I'm doing it on here, because I am learning outside of this, But the reason why I'm posting this is because you can't go on any social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit. You can't go, and these are all 5 that I've had. And then Snapchat. You can't go on any of these things without seeing such hatred that we hold towards one another. Whether it's racism, prejudice, whether it's, major, just us being angry people, just fights everywhere. You can't do anything because there's all of this underlying bitterness in our hearts. When now you who are believers in Christ, I'm talking to you right now, but all this stuff is allowed because we're not where we're supposed to be. And I know the Lord called me to do work for him, but I've been actively hiding myself away because I didn't want to do it. Just rebellious, foolish, disobedient. This guy. But I know the Lord, and I know what he's called me to do. And I know that I cannot do what it is that he's telling me to do in the right spirit if I have all this stuff underlying. Because what it'll do is it'll blind me to the things that's going on, that the enemy has going on. So then when I'm hit with something, it shocks me because my eyes are not open to see what the Lord wants me to see the revelation of the Lord, the true, unadulterated, pure revelation from God. All these things are blocking. I'm blocking the move that he's doing in the world. I'm blocking the move that he's doing in my family. I'm blind. I'm blind to the move that he's doing in my family and in the world. I'm blind to it because I close my eyes to forgiveness. I shut off my heart towards others. And that's just me talking about me. I'm talking to you, like having conversations, but I'm talking about me. And I'm bringing you into the conversation because you keep posting about it. I'm not telling you to stop posting. I'm telling you, like, we got to change something. Something's got to give. Because we're not free. We're not free. We're bound to this negative spirit. We're bound to seeing the world in this dark light. We're bound to being evil towards other people. We're bound to it. We're bound to only thinking of ourselves, to being selfish, self-centered. We're bound to it. Because if I'm holding in unforgiveness, from these people, then if I see it again, I need to protect myself. Now, it's a difference from like guarding your heart and protecting yourself. Because guarding your heart is, I've been in this situation before. Nothing against you. But I don't want the evil that's been in my heart to attack you due to my reactions. So something has to change in me. I have to change. Not you gotta change. I'm not telling you to change. I'm telling me. I have to change. Because it does not matter if I leave this friendship and I held unforgiveness towards you. I'm going to leave this friendship and then I'm going to enter another friendship and then I'm going to hold unforgiveness, towards them. And then I'm going to leave that friendship and go over here. It doesn't matter. It's not tied to any one relationship. And then if I'm holding unforgiveness towards God, then it don't matter. I'm holding unforgiveness towards God. It's easy for me to hold unforgiveness towards you, towards my wife, towards my family, towards anybody. So it's like I got to talk to him and understand who he is and why he does what he does. And I can find that all out in his book. He already wrote it out. Gave us a clear, wonderful instruction. But anyway, I've seen that due to unforgiveness, my actions have become evil. So, if I forgive, what will happen? Thank you all for watching. This is the Bishop, aka Monkey D Bishop. Um, subscribe if you want to. Like if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. I love you anyway. Deuces.